Hello YouTube! There is finally a new and better way to play LANCELOT. In this 1.2 patch, some characters are able to hit up to 10 million damage on a projectile if it hits when they're guarding or dodging. So, with Lancelot's projectile skill, he is able to take great advantage of it. With 8 shots in the chamber that recharge, his projectile becomes his strongest move when built accordingly, and you can reach damage and DPS that Lancelot could never dream of until now. Right off the bat, let's just start with the Sigil build. The projectile trick breaks damage cap on its own, and it's our main source of damage with this build, generally 90%. So you don't need to use any damage cap sigils like Alpha or whatever. Just focus on stacking as much damage as possible. You know, things like stamina, tyranny, life on the line. And then you'll have to stretch even further than the usual stuff, like concentrated fire, critical damage, skilled assault, maybe even exploiter. Just anything that stacks so you can boost the damage of the projectile skill. Now, to pull it off, it's moderately simple compared to the other projectile cancels. Lawinstrom has a startup compared to the others. So if you dodge cancel, you'll have to delay the dodge cancel a little bit after the startup of the skill. Because of this, it's possible to dodge out of it before the projectile comes out. Thankfully, guard cancels much faster and seems to be unique to Lancelot. When I was doing this trick with the other characters, I could not guard cancel the projectile cast. But I was still able to get the damage cap break while guarding. Anyways, this is definitely faster than the dodge cancel, so you definitely want to do this. Unless you need to move between shots, which can be often. Now, optimizing this is certainly the fun part. Aside from the sigil stuff, build stuff, whatever, the gameplay aspect ends up being pretty interesting. An important factor about Lancelot doing this projectile trick is that the damage cap break will not work if you're really close up or point blank. Lancelot must at least be above 1 standard length dodge from the hitbox he's hitting with the projectile, or else there's just not enough space and time for the guard or dodge to occur when the projectile hits. So in many cases, I found that doing 2 back dodges from melee distance was ample enough space to get this working properly. Alright, so I've only been doing this for a day, as I've been spending time with, all the other characters, the changes on the existing characters. So the build or style isn't totally figured out. In any case, what I'm trying to get at here is I'm gonna go through a couple of things that I try to do with this build. 1, try to activate Combo Booster, the White Dragon Sigil, and get Max Ice. Now, activating the White Dragon Sigil and the Combo Booster isn't too hard. I think once you get a few flurry hits off, or even a couple of Twin Blade dances, you should get it going. Getting Max Ice, though, is a little trickier, because you need to hold flurry for a while. Anyways, these are all damage boosts that will help you get the most damage on your projectile. I would definitely use some Fireball stock before trying to proc Max Ice or anything, because it's a little easier said than done. It's tricky to prioritize this because you can't be point blank to land the projectile damage cap break. So after you go in and proc Ice, you have to backdash out. So you're trying to activate the damage boost, and then maybe get Ice if you can, and then dodge back out or go around to build enough space to shoot the projectiles properly. And then you end up with a very in and then out and then in and then out kind of playstyle. Second, try to get as many perfect dodges and perfect guards. These have cooldown reduction with the Precise Wrath and Nimble Onslaught sigils, respectively. So it's always key to aim for these, and then you can get more Lawin Storm stocks, as well as getting your other skills up faster, like your support damage buff and your freeze. And staying alive is pretty cool too. And 3, aim for back attack. Most characters get more damage when hitting from behind, So you will want to aim to hit from the rear with the projectile in order to maximize the damage. And then finally, land combo finisher for Cascade procs. This is a little tricky on some bosses like Behemoth, but on other fights, it's a little more reasonable. As for other skills, I was using the Gap Close skill, Blade Impulse, just to get around when it's up. And then, of course, I always brought the supplementary damage skill and the freeze, of course. I don't think I need to explain how to use those. Now, I don't like to be comparing to randos, because it's a team game, right? But for the sake of proof of concept, I want to show you some information from parsers I took versus Behemoth when playing online with random people. On average, a run without Cagliostro's Phantasmagoria, I could get around 500k DPS, more or less. However, on a run with Cagliostro, who was also using the damage cap projectile trick, I was able to get up to 768k DPS. I even ended up out-damaging the Cagliostro too, who was hitting 10 million damage hits on Alexandria. In that fight, I was able to hit an 8.5 million damage Lava Storm. Alright, now you know the juice. Like I mentioned, I only tried this for a day, so let me know if you have any other ideas or anything on how to make this better down below. Hope you can have fun with this new way of playing Lancelot. I know I am. I'm just super happy that the projectile's good, because it was pretty much his worst skill when I was like labbing things out with him. I was thinking like, man, I sure hope they buff this skill, or make it like a core component to his game, because that would be cool and interesting, and boom! Here we are. They did exactly what I wanted. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the new 1.2 patch. Like, subscribe, blah 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 blah.